Hey everybody, welcome to the channel and welcome to the conference. All honor, glory, and praise be to our one and only Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Well, in this particular conference, I will be addressing the topic of people who don't have what it takes to take you on. So they will try to threaten you by saying that somebody else will. And what I mean by that is, let's just say you're going through a divorce or you are going through a separation as a girlfriend-boyfriend situation. And let's just say that either your spouse or your ex-husband or your ex-wife or your ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend has hooked up with somebody that is psychotic, like somebody that wants to take on and join in a warfare that has absolutely nothing to do with them. Case in point, let me use for an example. Let's just say there's a guy out there, and let's just say he was in a relationship, and then he had a child with the woman that he was in the relationship with. So let's just say that things don't work out between the two of them. So they break up, okay, and he goes and gets with somebody else, okay. So let's just say there's this whole big thing going on between him and his ex-girlfriend or ex-wife or what have you, whatever the case may be, if whoever can relate to this example that I'm putting out. But let's just say, make a long story short, that the new person that he is involved with is putting her mouth in the situation with him and his ex. And for you fellas out there, you can flip the script. Let's just say that something didn't work out between you and either your wife or your girlfriend, and there was a child, or it doesn't have to be a little child, it could be, a child that's, not legally an adult involved. And let's just say that she's involved with another dude now, and he's putting his mouth in the situation with you and your ex. So I guess the question goes, how far is too far? And should these people be putting their 2 cents in a relationship, even though it's broken up and, dismantled? But should the newcomers put their mouth in something that really had nothing to do with them initially, but maybe somewhat affects them now that they're involved with you? So that's the question. Well, I look at it this way. I feel that, the thing is, when people confide in other people about their relationship drama, they automatically invite the newcomer into the drama, into the confusion. If that newcomer puts his or her mouth in that situation. Now, I feel like that if they just sit there and listen, I don't feel like there's so much involved. I feel like they are just lending an ear to somebody that perhaps wants to vent. But I feel like when they take on the role of actually putting their mouth in it and sending messages to the person's ex and getting involved that way, then I feel like they're pretty much putting their hands in something that they didn't have anything to do with. And I feel like that the person that they are involved with is dragging them into their own, I'm hearing, toxic mess, that the newcomer didn't have anything to do with. And I feel like that a lot of people will try to utilize people against their ex. And that person actually had nothing to do with what went on between that person and the person that they used to be involved with, if you're following me. And I just feel like that's how things can get blown out of proportion, and how, just drama and messes can pop off. So the question goes, should the newcomer get involved in their ex's mess with their ex and their children, or even if children aren't involved and that maybe there's a dispute over property or a dispute over monies or a bank account or joint bank account that they had, whatever the situation, should the newcomer ever get involved, and should the newcomer ever put their 2 cents in it? Well, I look at it from the perspective of the newcomer wanting to be a support for the person that they've gotten involved with. But at the same time, I feel like that the drama between a person and their ex is between that person and their ex. And I feel like that the newcomer is pretty much inviting unnecessary drama in his or her life by getting into other people's messes that could quite possibly be resolved through either the court system or some other legal type of setting, perhaps just, a written agreement and, getting it legalized, this, that, and the third, whatever the red tape is involved with that. But me personally, I don't feel like that people should get in a new relationship and automatically get involved with their new significant others' ex's mess. Okay, if that makes it, like the mess that they have with their ex, I don't feel like they should get involved with that, because in a sense it does have something to do with them if it starts affecting them in their life and their new relationship. But in another sense, it's between that individual and who they were once previously involved with. That's how I look at it. Nobody has to agree with me, because I feel like that if you are a newcomer, you are inviting that person's drama into your life, unless it is somebody that likes that kind of thing, And then you never know if that person is trying to get the newcomer to come up against their ex, and then the newcomer starts sending messages and just putting their mouth somewhere where it shouldn't be. I just feel like that people should not invite unnecessary drama into their lives. And, so that's the reason why it's very important to be careful for you guys out there. If you get involved with people, you need to know what is going on in their lives. Do they have any type of drama going on in their lives? And if they do have drama, is it with their ex, or is it with their family? It could be with anybody, old friends or whatever. Because whatever that person has going on, it's going to pull you into that situation. And then if a person is involved with somebody toxic, and like I said, they're trying to get their ex to do stuff they're trying to get the newcomer they're involved with to do something to their ex or whatever, that can create a problem too. Okay, case in point is this. I will share this much. I don't share a lot right now, but I will share this much. I know when the individual that had started a war against me had made a comment one day about somebody that he was saying, and of course I could care less. It's none of my business, of course. But I remember him saying something. I don't even remember the person's name. I don't even want to. It's none of my business. But I remember him telling me something like, oh, yeah, because such and such will come down here and, in other words, set it off. And, implying that who he was involved with was going to do something to me. So I'm looking at it as this person really thought, or this demon really thought that he was going, just talking up like, oh yeah, who he's involved with now is going to come and do something to me, like I was some kind of punk. But see, I know that's how he perceived me, but I was not a punk. But I know how to play my cards when I'm standing on enemy ground, because it's more to the story. But I will say this, when my name is tied up in some legal matters as it pertains to that piece of filth, I'm not going to, have a back and forth. I got to play my cards right. I play chess, not checkers. And see, that's the reason why a lot of times, when people wonder why other people are still around certain people that are toxic and they shouldn't be with, it's not always just a cut and dry situation. Because if there are legal matters involved, or if there's property involved in some way, you can't just cut that person off until you've got what you are supposed to have, and then you can walk away from that piece of junk. And that's, I'm not going to get into too much detail about that, but, and also, I'm the type of person that I'm going to allow somebody to hang themselves in front of me, and I personally, I really don't know who this piece of trash thought he was. I don't know what he thought he had going on. Talking about, yeah, sister come and set it off, and set it off on who? Set it off on who and what? Because whoever he was involved with, and of course that's none of my business. I don't care. I don't have any emotions for that person. Didn't have any emotions for that person. I was allowing that person to hang himself. So I'm just going to put it out on the table. I'm allowing that person to hang himself, because ain't nobody going to do nothing to me. I don't care who it thinks it's involved with, because it ain't seen gangster till it's seen me. Oh, I know I didn't portray myself that way at the time, but like I said, I was standing on enemy grounds, you understand? And so I think that I have more than proven to that person that I will literally chew it up and spit it out, because that's exactly what I have done by the power of God that Father has given to me. Not that I really had to, because, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, and it is the Lord that fights my battles. But I'm holding this conference just to show you how, if you're dealing with a narcissistic person, how they would try to pull other people into their drama with other people, or they'll try to threaten you by saying, oh, well, such and such come and do this, and no, nobody's going to do anything, and nobody has done anything, and nobody will ever do anything, because that ugly thing couldn't even do anything, and so, like I said, that individual is just a piece of trash anyway. But my thing is, who does this person think they are to try to drag other people into a situation that individual had nothing to do with, and I don't know who the person is that it was dealing with, because all I know is that the female that it was involved with had sent a text message to its cell phone, and I ended up reading the text message. It was none of my business, but I'm going to play the game. I'm going to play the game and see. That's what the individual really got mad about, is that I went through its cell phone and saw the text messages. But my thing is this, if you don't want me to go through your phone, don't go through mine. Okay, because I'm just that type of chick, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if that individual thought that it meant something to me or not. It didn't. But like I said, you got sometimes, not to give too much away, but you got to play your hands right when there's other business matters involved with your affiliation with that person. And that's all I'll convey right now. But as it turns out, even the so-called business matter worked out in my favor, because, I'll just say, when I told that person that I don't care what it took, I meant what I said. And I've more than shown that person what I meant by that. And I know nobody else might not know what I mean by that, but that ugly thing does. Because that is the type of individual that likes to pit females against each other. That ugly thing likes females fighting over each other. I'm never going to fight over a man, like that. Like, no. And that ain't even a man. I don't know what that ugly thing is, whatever anybody wants to call it. You seen what that thing looks like? And then, another thing, it's crazy, it's narcissistic. And so, again, not to go too far, of course, I just want to interject that into the conference, because you have to be careful of people trying to pull other people into things that they have nothing to do with. And if you find yourselves in a situation where somebody's trying to have somebody come at you in a violent way, or put their mouth in something that they have nothing to do with, you're dealing with a narcissist, you're dealing with a gaslighter, you're dealing with somebody that's not even a man. And for you fellows out there, if it's a female, you're dealing with something that's not even a woman, because a real woman wouldn't do that. A real woman would not want who she's now involved with coming for you. Like that, especially if what you have going on with her has nothing to do with that person. That's dragging that person into drama that he doesn't have anything to do with. And the same thing for you ladies, that would be dragging, y'all know how I'm trying to word this. If you are a woman, it would be dragging another guy into something. And if you are a man, it would be dragging another woman into something. I think I said that right. So, but when you're dealing with a narcissist, when you're dealing with somebody that, just lives, breathe, and eat, figuratively speaking, drama, and then when you're dealing with something that's low class and something that's beneath you, and was beneath you from day one, from the initial approach, hey, that's what you're going to deal with, and it's something how people can put on a front and put on a mask and wear a costume when you meet them. I remember, well, I don't want to give too much away, but I will say this. That is the person that Father and I had taken down. That is the type of individual that will try to have other people come at other people, and they have nothing to do with whatever the matter at hand is. And I'm very glad that Father took that individual down.